small, like almost too small.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Like out there, somewhere, there's got to be something bigger, right? Some kind of plan.
Well, today we're diving into a fascinating section of the Urantia book that attempts to explain that.
We're going deep on celestial beings, their roles, and how they connect to, well, everything.
I'm excited to break down this excerpt. It's a pretty detailed system, really gets into the grand scale of the cosmos and our place in it.
Okay, so right off the bat, the Urantia book hits us with this number, 7. 7 groups of these supreme spirits.
Yes.
And each group, they've got these like super intriguing titles. Master spirits, reflective image aids.
Right.
That's giving celestial task force vibes. I'm into it. So what's the deal with this magnificent 7? Why 7?
Well, the number 7, it pops up a lot in the Urantia book. You'll see it in the 7 super universes, the 7 circuits of Havona.
Oh, right.
It's definitely pointing to this larger cosmic order and structure. And in this case, it's these 7 groups of supreme spirits. They're essential, really, to how the universe even functions.
Okay, so before we get too far into this cosmic who's who, can we do a super quick refresher on the layout of the universe according to the Urantia book? We've got paradise, we've got Havona. I need to know where we fit into all of this.
Absolutely. So picture this. At the very center, you have paradise. It's the eternal home, the dwelling place of God.
Okay.
And radiating out from paradise, you have Havona. That's the central universe. Perfect. Complete.
Perfect. Nothing to improve there. Got it.
Right. Now, surrounding Havona, you have the 7 super universes. Each one is still evolving, still growing. And our super universe, we call it Orvonton.
Orvonton. Home, sweet, cosmic home.
Chuckles, exactly. And then within each super universe, like Orvonton, are countless local universes. Like our own, we call ours Nebadon.
Nebadon. Okay, so these supreme spirits, they're basically running the show across all of that.
That's a good way to put it. They're responsible for making sure this vast creation runs smoothly, making sure everything aligns with, the big plan.
That is one heck of a management position. I'm stressed just thinking about it. But okay, I'm curious about these master spirits specifically. They're described as, and I quote, coordinating directors. Which sounds, well, important, like really important. So what kind of influence are we talking here?
Yeah. Their influence is vast. I mean, the excerpt makes it clear that their reach goes from the very source of creation, from paradise itself, all the way down to, well, us.
Okay, but even with all that power, they're not like cosmic dictators.
That's the interesting part. The Urantia book emphasizes that they don't micromanage.
They delegate.
Exactly. They delegate authority. They respect the autonomy of each level of creation. Even with a cosmos of this magnitude, we aren't alone. We're constantly being guided and supported on our spiritual journey.
Okay, phew. So it's not just this top-down authoritarian structure. There's room for individuality.
Exactly. The Urantia book uses the term supreme not to mean absolute power, but as more of a functional title, I would say. It's all about collaboration, even at the highest levels.
I like the sound of that. Collaboration, co-creation. It's not just one ultimate being calling all the shots. There's a system.
Right. And it's fascinating how that system came to be, how these supreme spirits were brought into being. Did you notice that part?
So how do these supreme spirits come into being? Is it like cosmic promotion? Do you have to put in your time somewhere else first?
Oh, it's way more profound than that. See, 3 of the groups, the master spirits, the supreme executives, and the reflective spirits, they originate directly from the Paradise Trinity.
Okay, well, hold on. Directly from the Paradise Trinity. So we're talking like beings born from the very essence of the Father, Son, and Spirit.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so does that mean they have like the same level of power and authority?
Well, it definitely points to their significance, right? But here's where it gets even more interesting. The other 4 groups, they're creations of the infinite spirit, or they're beings that were empowered by the infinite spirit. So we have this dual origin, and it really highlights this key idea in the Urantia book, this idea of collaboration in creation.
Even at that level, it's not just a one-person show.
It's about working together, pooling resources, combining unique abilities, and it all builds toward this bigger picture.
Okay, so it's not just about like one ultimate power calling all the shots. Even with the Trinity, there's this element of shared creation.
Right. And that brings us to the concept of the supreme being.
Oh, here we go. The supreme being. All right, so is this just another name for God? Help me out here.
It's easy to think that, but no. The supreme being is actually a distinct entity, and it evolves alongside creation itself.
Wait, evolves? like change it. I always thought the Supreme Being was supposed to be like this ultimate unchanging force. How does that even work?
I know, it's a lot to wrap your head around, but that's one of the most, I don't know, mind-bending ideas in the Urantia book. The Supreme Being isn't static. It grows, it learns, it reveals new aspects of itself through creation. Like, for example, the creation of Majestin.
Majestin. Okay, so that name keeps popping up. Who is this Majestin, the reflectivity chief? First of all, is that a real job title?
Well, the book calls it that. And it's where things get especially interesting. This being, Majestin, emerged from this totally unique collaboration between the Paradise Trinity and the seven Master Spirits.
So a joint project.
You could say that. But it was a first-of-its-kind event, according to the text, and it actually had a profound impact on the Supreme Being, like forever changed it. Just think about that for a second. The kind of event that could change something as fundamental as the Supreme Being.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a serious collaboration. But it kind of makes you wonder, what else is possible?
Exactly. The emergence of Majestin, it kind of blows the door wide open, you know?
Yeah.
It shows us the potential for, like, even more incredible beings and powers to emerge in the future as the Supreme Being continues to evolve. What other mind-blowing collaborations are out there?
Okay, I need a minute to process that. But before we spiral into an existential crisis, can we talk about these reflective spirits and their image aids? What are we even talking about here? What do those terms even mean?
They're crucial parts of the system. Reflectivity, and in this context, it's not about mirrors or anything like that. It's this high-level cosmic faculty, almost like, I don't know how to explain it, like a universal news gathering and decree disseminating network.
So like the cosmic internet.
Something like that.
But instead of cat videos, it's keeping track of what's happening all over the universe.
Basically. Instead of cat videos, we're talking about spiritual progress. Good, bad, and everything in between. All that information instantly transmitted across the cosmos.
They're basically reading our minds, aren't they?
Well, the book suggests it's more about the intents of our hearts, our growth toward the divine. Not so much specific actions. Think of it less like surveillance and more like, I guess a cosmic feedback loop.
Yeah.
It's helping guide the universe toward its ultimate destiny.
Okay. That makes a little more sense. But are they getting all this info from the Supreme Being?
That's the interesting part. So this ability, this reflectivity, it originates from the Supreme Being and the Master Spirits. But the text seems to suggest that they don't actually use it in the same way that they've given it to the reflective spirits.
Interesting. So they're like passing down abilities that they themselves don't even use in the same way.
It's a fascinating idea, and it gets even more intriguing when we bring in the image aids.
All right, hit me with it. Image aids.
So these beings are essentially the go-betweens, the intermediaries. They operate between the reflective spirits, who are kind of on this other level, and the rulers of the super-universes, the Ancients of Days. Imagine that kind of connection, a direct line between, well, your thoughts and the rules of the universe. That's the image aid's job.
The ultimate diplomats.
Yeah.
So they're like perfect replicas of the reflective spirits going out and doing their bidding.
You got it. Each image aid is a direct creation of a reflective spirit, a perfect, but non-reflective image of their creator. And get this, there are 7 image aids per super universe.
7, of course. Okay, but here's my question. With all of this going on behind the scenes, this massive, intricate system, what does it mean for us down here? We're talking cosmic internet, beings born from the Trinity itself. It's mind-blowing, but how does any of this actually affect our lives down here on Earth? That's the big question, right? I mean, it's amazing to think about, but does it actually matter for us?
It does, though, and that's what the Urantia book wants us to see. We can get lost in these huge ideas and forget that they're not just concepts. They have to mean something for our lives, our purpose.
Okay, I'm with you. So how does it all connect? From those supreme spirits all the way down to us.
Remember how those supreme spirits were described? Coordinators? That connection, it goes all the way down to us. It's like a huge tapestry, unimaginably complex, and we're each a thread in it, connected to every other thread. The excerpt ends by talking about how these spirits connect our minds, like your mind and mine, to the divine source itself.
Okay, so we're not just tiny dots in some universe that doesn't care. We're actually part of this web of beings and energy that goes all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. The Urantia book isn't describing a universe where we're just along for the ride. Everything's connected. No. Our actions, our thoughts, even just existing, they all matter in this big story that's unfolding. And through that connection, we can tap into this divine energy that flows through everything. We're not separate. We're part of this incredible story of growth and moving upwards.
Wow, okay. That's a lot, but in the good way. It makes you think differently about, well, everything. Knowing there's this system of beings working behind the scenes, connecting us to something bigger.
It really puts things into perspective.
Right, and it makes me wonder if this supreme being is still changing, revealing itself in new ways. What's next? What other incredible beings are out there? What other amazing things haven't we even imagined yet? It's almost too much, but in a good way.
That's what's so amazing about it, I think. The Urantia book opens up all these possibilities. It tells us to embrace the mystery, never stop exploring, and always be ready for incredible things we don't even understand yet.
That's a great place to end, I think. So to everyone listening, take a second to think about the big picture. Remember you're connected to something incredible, something beyond yourself. And hey, maybe someday we'll get to meet some of these beings face to face. But until then, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
Thanks for joining us for this incredible journey through the Urantia book. See you next time.